The Madrid Sweater makes the perfect practice project for learning to knit top-down set-in sleeves. While it sounds complex, this super easy technique is power-packed and can be transferred to a variety of sweater designs. In this video, you will learn how to shape the sleeve cap, how to attach the cap to the armhole at the same time, how to shape the main section of the sleeve with easy decreases, and then how to add the modified turn and roll hem for the sleeve cuff. Since the sleeve is knit top down, you will also learn when to lengthen or shorten the sleeve for a perfect fit. Once you try these sleeves, you may never go back to knitting traditional sleeves. The companion pattern and the links to other videos in the Madrid Sweater playlist can be found in the video description below. Let's start! The shoulder seams must be completed before you can begin the top-down set in the sleeve because that joins the front and back of the arm side. For size small, I am bringing 62 needles out to hold or upper work position, but refer to the pattern for the number of needles needed for your size. Start with either of the arm size, and with the right side, the knit side of the knitting facing the machine, begin at one of the underarms. I am going to pick up the outside loop right there. This way, the join will be very neat at the underarm. So pick up the loop on the end of the underarm and put it on the end working needle. Then pick up the next loop and hang it on the second needle. Then find the shoulder seam in the middle of the arm side. Locate the center two working needles. This is where you've got to be careful. You want to pick up the outside half of the stitch. So I'm going to pick up this one. Now, as I said, this yarn does split a little bit, so you got to be careful that you get a clean pickup. Once you get the first one, there it is. That one goes on this needle. Then on this side, I'm picking up the outside half of the stitch. I'm going to pick up one on each side more. I'm just to secure myself right here. I'm skipping the little knots. On a bulky, I tend to pick up half of the edge stitch. If I was working on a standard bed machine, you might want to pick up the whole stitch to give yourself a little more meat. So on this edge, I have that same thing. I have those bound off edges, so I'm picking up that one loop there, and I'm hanging this here. Now, this is what I call the half of the half of the halves. You've all heard this, but this is where it comes in real handy. I'm going to pick up that loop. Now, what I found, I'm going to pick up two right there. I'm not so worried about those tight little knots. That comes later. I'll worry about them later. So then I'm going to pick up the half of the half. And then I'm going to pick up the half of the half of the half. Then I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to pick up the half of the half of the half. And I'm just hanging the loop parts, not the knot parts on the edge at this point. Half of the half. And this is where take your time. Now I'm going to go over onto the side. So I'm looking at it and I'm feeling where it's going to go on that machine. I take my time at this because here I'm at the half of this one. That one seems to want to go there. This one seems to want to go there. I'm going to go down here. Here. I'm just going half to the halves of the half, okay? And then in a minute I'll be checking my work. So now I'm picking up, I have two here. Now this one may need a knot. I'll put that one on there. This one looks good. This one looks good. This one is a knot here, or is the edge, the last of the stitches there. It's kind of tight. I'm going to hang it on the same one as another one. You can do that if there's a gap. But look, I'm pulling down on it, and I'm checking along the edge. I'm checking from one edge all the way down to make sure there's no gaps. I'm not worried about the knots, but if I'm missing a stitch, here I'm missing a stitch. So I'm going to pick up the knot at that point and put it on that needle. These two don't have stitches, so all these are covered right now. You want to have unique stitches. So that half is done now. Okay? So let's turn our attention to this half. I'm going to bring all these out, and I'm going to pull down, and I'm going to find the half of the stitch. Pulling them down nice and tight. Let's see. It looks like I'm really evenly distributed. Now I'm going to pull up on this, and I'm going to E-wrap. I don't need this end anymore. This one's going to do me absolutely no good. It's right at the shoulder seam. So I'm going to take advantage of my knitting here and get rid of it. So just loosely E-wrap it. And put my clip on it. And I'm good. So I'm ready to knit now.
Start with the carriage on the left. Thread up with the main color. Set the carriage to knit in both directions.
The main tension on this yarn for this sweater is 6.2. I'm going to crank this down to 4.2. 2 full numbers tighter for the first row. And I'm on row 0 now. Okay? And I'm going to knit 1 row. It's going to be a little heavy, but not bad. Now this is no longer needed. It's woven in. It's gone. I immediately, if I weave it in, I cut it off. Okay? So now I've just done my first row. The next thing I'm going to do is crank my tension back up to full tension, because now I start shaping.
Refer to the pattern for counts for your specific size.
I want to isolate the 10 middle stitches. Those are going to be just fine. So everything left of that, I'm bringing into hold. Okay? So all I'm going to do is knit this side at this point. I also put my carriage into hold. And I'm going to just knit 1 row. So these knit here. Now I'm going to wrap that end needle over here. And I just let the nut yarn fall underneath it. Okay? Now on this side, I'm going to bring all these out to hold, except for the center 10. Now if you're going to apply this to a standard bed machine, you're going to have about 2 inches. Now this gauge, this is like 2.5 inches, but this is a slight drop shoulder. So, but if you were doing it on a regular set-in sleeve, you'd have about 10 stitches on a regular machine. And now we're going to knit back. These didn't knit. Okay? So I'm going to wrap that needle. And now, here's the fun part. I'm going to bring 2 needles into work on the far side, away from the carriage. Knit 1 row. Wrap that needle. Bring 2 in on this side. Wrap that needle. Bring 2 in on this side. Wrap this needle. Bring 2 in on this side. Wrap this needle. Now I am going to put some weight on here because I am short rowing, and this is going to roll up on me. So I wrap that needle, and I bring 2 in on this side. Wrap. The wrapping is critical, or else you're going to get little holes. If you follow the pattern, it works out perfectly. So I just wrap there, bringing these into upper work. Wrap this one. These go into upper work. There's nothing to wrap. Bring that back. and knit across. You have just knit the shoulder cap. Reset the row counter to 0 as we are beginning the lower part of the sleeve. Knit even until you reach the row where the shaping begins. Now refer to the pattern to find the total number of decreases on each side for your size. For this size, there are 9 decreases on each side, so I am marking the 10th needle from the edge so I know when the decreases are finished. So I'm going to decrease 1 each side, but on this particular yarn, how you do that decrease. If this was a tweed, you can just move the 2 end needles in one. But because this is not a tweed and this yarn will show everything, and I want it to be attractive, I am going to move the 3rd one out, 1, and these 2 in. Make sure that's out of work. On the right side, there we go. I'm taking the 3rd needle out, 1, and these 2 in. It's sort of like I'm preserving this edge stitch to be untouched by the decreases. So I just did my decrease on each side, made sure that one is out of work. Now I'm going to knit 8 more rows. And we'll be done with this really quickly, as you can see. 1 out, 2 in. 1 out, 2 in. 8 rows. This needle is now my edge needle, so I know I'm done. I don't have to think about it anymore. 1 out, 2 in. And this one is now my edge needle. I don't have to think about it anymore. So all I have to do is pay attention to my row counter. All my decreases on the whole sleeve are finished at this point. So now I'm going to knit till row 88. And once again, refer to the pattern for the exact number of rows you need to knit. This is a perfect place to do an adjustment if you need it longer or shorter. Just either knit more rows or take off rows. It's 6 rows to an inch, so you can easily tell. Once the length is achieved that you want, we're going to turn the knitting with a garter bar or with waist knitting and take a free pass. With the garter bar, push the knitting back toward the needle bed to open the latches and put the stitches behind the latches. Garter bars love weight. Okay, now I happen to be using a Chris Crafter garter bar this time. Okay, by pushing my knitting back, I opened all the latches, and so now it's on place. Now when you're doing a wide enough range, you want to pull your knitting forward to close the latches first. And here's the secret that I found, especially with the Chris Crafter. And well, it works the same on the Japanese. When you're pulling the knitting off, raise the angle of the garter bar is pointing down toward the hooks when you're pulling off. Okay? If you have to reposition your hand, tip it down so that it's pointing up toward the hooks. And the reason you do that is because otherwise the stitches will slide back on and then you get some stuck in the hooks. So when you want to pull more off, you raise it up, pull it, then bring it down. Pull it, and there you go. They're all off. They're all on the garter bar now. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to push toward the machine to open all the latches. It saves a lot of time, and the knitting is in my hand right now. Now, I'm going to turn it. And here's another little secret, especially with this garter bar. Take your thumbs and pull the end stitches out toward the sides. The reason I do that is to straighten the stitches so that when I line it up to go on here, okay, I'm pushing a little bit forward. You hear it pop on? Yeah, go on, get on. Then I tip it down. And here's the piece de resistance. Now I'm doing this in slow motion, guys. I'm pulling down on the garter bar to make sure all the stitches are cleanly on to the machine. And the true test is, will the garter bar come out? If it doesn't come out, I hung up somewhere. There. Then we just push this back. Okay? I can remove this, and I do love these. The stoppers, the needle stoppers, because they really make a difference in control of your garter bar. Okay? Okay, so we've turned our knitting. But I'm going to put it into hold. I'm going to take a free pass to go to the other side. And the reason I want to go to the other side is because my yarn's there. And now, that brings me, I'm going to knit 7 rows. Yep, of course, you've got to take it out of hold. Okay, that puts my yarn on this side. I can unthread at this point. I can use my pusher.
Once all my needles are in hold position, all I'm going to do is bind off around the gate pegs. Now that was easy.
Here is the sleeve already made. Now that's the cuff. So when this gets turned under like that, it's already finished. It just rolls under by nature. There's your set-in sleeve. Talk about how easy was that? And guess what? No arm size seam to sew.
I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!